Good morning. Happy Thursday. There's two things that just keep reverberating through comment sections and comments. And I would like to address them once again. Hopefully I can get through to those people who don't seem to grasp this point. While the state is an entity, the fact that there was a previous prosecution by the city of Tucson, and now there is prosecution being brought by Pima County, does not mean that the two are related. The situation, the current criminal prosecution of Lane Myers, is solely based on Lane Myers' actions outside of the events that led to him being charged and prosecuted in the city of Tucson, and are otherwise unrelated to those. They're unrelated to those, except as to the point where those started the prosecution in the city of Tucson. The current criminal prosecution started when Lane Myers contacted the wife of the prosecutor in his otherwise irrelevant case for the sole purpose of harassing her to get her to put pressure on the prosecutor to drop the charges in the otherwise irrelevant case. The charges in that case, irrelevant. It could have been for spitting on the sidewalk. It could have been for manslaughter. It could have been for first-degree murder. Irrelevant what the charges were. The relevant facts are that Lane Myers was being prosecuted. He contacted the wife of the prosecutor for her to put pressure on the prosecutor to get him out of those charges or whatever. She is otherwise unrelated. So her only relationship to the previous prosecution is the fact that she's married to the prosecutor. The only reason why she was contacted by Lane Myers is because she was married to the prosecutor. Lane Myers' purpose, his stated purpose, was to have her put pressure on the prosecutor. I don't understand why people don't understand this. What he did in the city hall meeting is irrelevant. The charges that he was facing in the city prosecution case, irrelevant. The relevant facts are he was being prosecuted. He contacted the wife of the prosecutor to put pressure on the prosecutor to affect the charges that he was currently facing, i.e. to harass her. That's the relevant issue. And then all of a sudden she became, for Lane Myers and his supporters, she became public enemy number one because she's not an attorney. She's an administrative personnel person. Her title was Director of Special Operations. She served the dean. So if the dean had a special project, she'd be put in charge of it. She wasn't responsible for pro se litigants teaching random people. I mean, imagine this, if you will. For those of you who think that she had to react to, respond to, that she was somehow had to answer to Lane Myers because he's a citizen. Imagine, if you will, contacting one of the actual law professors at the University of Arizona and saying, you need to teach me for free at my request because you're a public employee. Because they are public employees just as much as the prosecutor's wife was a public employee. And so do you think you could demand that they teach you the law, teach you how to practice law, work on your case, your pro se criminal defense case for free at your every whim? Do you think they have to do that? Obviously they do not. Obviously they do not. If you think they do, you've got a fucking screw loose. Try it. That's not their job. Nor is it the director of special projects job to help random criminal defendants. She's not even an attorney. The arguments that people make are ridiculous. Just ridiculous. And the generalizations people make. Oh, all public employees are answerable to the citizens. Where is that written? Where is that written? They're not the citizen, like elected officials answerable to the citizens. Absolutely. And what happens if they do what the citizens don't want? Well, in theory, the citizens don't vote for them in subsequent elections. That's how they're held answerable. But she's not directly answerable to the citizens. She's answerable to the dean of the law school. The dean of the law school is probably answerable to the dean of the university. The dean of the university is probably answerable to the board of regents, or whatever they call them in Arizona. The board of regents in Arizona is probably answerable to the legislature and the governor. But they're not. There's not an answerable to the citizens there, and that's a blanket statement. Like people are answerable to their boss. You can't directly fire any random public employee. You can't directly control any public employee. You can't get access to their personnel file, I would bet. For most employees, for police officers, there's a special exemption, the Brady rule. But for a clerk in the court, no, you're not going to get their personnel file. Their pay might be public record, court clerk level 2 might have like this pay range or whatever, but you're not going to get like their write-ups, their evaluations and things like that. It's ridiculous. It's hogwash. It's when people say things that are clearly contradicted by reality. Like, stop and think for a minute. Like, beyond my wish that this was the case, what evidence in reality is there to support this? Anyway, I think Myers has a hearing coming up this weekend or on Friday. I think I'll double check. If there is, and there's a link. I'll post a link for it in my community tab. By the way, I'm still not monetized, so I'm not doing any of this for money. So, all right. Have a great Thursday.